The global community is looking for getting better, to improvement. And I do come from an investment background. I do come from a consulting background. I do come from a coaching background. And I started a mentoring program 5 years ago. And currently I have $1 million business idea opportunity challenge that I engage people on an ongoing basis in a group environment, which allows me to uncover what are the big ideas. What is it that they're willing to work with? And we put $1 million tagline on it. Could be more, usually not less, because if people are thinking 500,000 or like with him, $250,000 problem, $1 million, now that's the benchmark. That's the minimum to be starting to think because we pay attention. And $1 million is not what it used to be. A billion is a lot more. I'm not quite there. $1 billion challenge, that takes a lot more resources. So $1 million makes a lot of sense. And what the world is looking for is to improve, how to get better. And the way to do that is to be able to bring the talents of a coaching expertise to the world. Not the consulting. The consulting is telling people what to do. The world has shifted where they need to be empowered to be able to grow, to be able to actually focus and actually do better than they ever had before with the resources that we have. We have limited resources, and because of climate change, the war, different storms. I'm in Miami. We just have a storm off of Puerto Rico, 3.1 million people without power. That's significant. Those are impacting things. So I like his process, but I think he's putting a ceiling to what he's thinking. It could be a lot bigger. And that's where we need to step in. We can take the model. The model's absolutely, the ladder of the model is absolutely a great step. He copied it from somebody else, Tony Robbins, from other people. They've done it well, but they've only taken it so far. It's up to us to take it even further. I think it's up to us in the career that we're in, the great skill set of coaching, skill set of consulting, skill set of investing, skill set of mentoring. Those are great skill sets, but they're only as good as how much further we help the world tremendously. And it's not about ourselves. The speaker is all about himself. It's about how do we show up in the world. He's in a position financially, he could do anything he wants, he says. Well, think bigger. He doesn't have a coach that's helping him get to think bigger. How do you show up in the world even bigger? How do you give away what you have in multitude? Also from a focus and a flow state point. That's the ultimate that we want to reach and help our clients to get to an ultimate level that they put all out and they're even more refreshed than when they started. When it comes, you give yourself quite a bit and do it smartly too. You give and ask for a return. There has to be some smartness about this, and ask, if we were able to do this, what would that be worth to you? I think those are very empowering questions. And whatever that might be, if it's worth $1 or it's worth $1 billion, fine, we'll take that. But the key is to continue to show up. The thing that he's not sharing with us, very, very key, is that he's not sharing with us how to help others get into the higher flow level of state. And that's a higher level than just being focused on getting you more clients, getting more revenue going. Those are the things that C-levels are thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to achieve all those things. But what statistics and other leaders that I've studied under have found is that if you can get into a higher flow level of state individually, as a team, as an organization, you can accomplish 400 to 500 to 700% more than you would without the flow state. That's significant for us to understand, because all of a sudden, we can help them get where they want to go because of competition, because of external situations, to a much higher level of return and value. And when they have that, they can give more to the world. You empower somebody that has a lot of resources, a lot of money, like the Apples, the Googles, the Facebooks, those people that are $1 trillion companies. Now they can be able and in a position to donate money. The Bill Gates or the Bill Gates Foundation, to be able to really empower. I suspect they got to a high level of flow state that the money just came. That's where we need to do and to empower. That's, I think, where he falls short. He's teaching us how to help our clients get into a focus level of state. Where are the clients? Help them get more. And the clients are saying, well, I want more money. I want more clients. I want more business. All right, we'll help you get there. But that is very much a fraction of what they could possibly do if they help them get into a flow state. And a flow state is a much higher level of state where they're able to achieve, as we heard from other speakers, 400 to 500 to 700% more performance. Now, I'm working on that with myself, quite frankly. I'm helping a team to develop that flow state as an organization, because there's more people, more things that might be difficult. So I'm not at that state, but I realize and recognize that that's a wonderful road, wonderful space, wonderful track to be in, that all of a sudden we can contribute more. I've got a limited amount of time, and we all do. What can we possibly do to extend ourselves and grow tremendously? And I think that's, as coaches, that's our training, and I think the world is waiting for that to show up. It's coaching. At the foundation of that is teaching the leader to be a great coach. We shifted, because of the COVID experience, quite a bit more, much more into a coaching environment instead of command and control, because if you have everybody in the same building, the same office, you can command people and see what they're doing, what they're working with. So that was a way for us to find out different ways of working. And the different ways of working, turns out that it's great communications, great skills in asking questions, great skills of shifting from command and control to collaborative. How do we work together better? So it's the things that we know about, and the things that scientists are finding out, that what is it that the high achievers, high performers are doing more of to get better and faster and more results, as we heard from another leader last week. And those things are that they're able to have a strong, there's different criteria. I went through different 17 criteria of what it applies to that. And of course, if you just do 2 or 3, you'll get higher levels. So I'm finding out that that's what high performance achievers are able to do. Strong passion, great communications, be able to set some time out for creativity. And there's 4 components, one of which is high motivation. Of course, everybody has high motivation. They're either desperate or inspired, but everybody has high motivation. That's the beginning stage. The key is, what do you do with that? Well, the second stage is learning. You want to learn. And now everybody knows that. So we have the motivation, and learning is skill sets, how to do some particular things, especially things that were difficult to learn, especially in technology. Once you have some of those skill sets, then you can be creative. The key is to get to a creative stage. What happens in a control and command and control environment, creativity gets squashed down. People tell you what to do, you just go do it. There's no creativity. Google found out that if they just gave 20% of the time to employees and say, you do whatever you want, 1/5 of it, 1 day out of the week, you can do whatever you want. It turns out that 47% of their revenue comes from products that those people created. That's huge. It's almost 50%. So that's just 1/5 of the time? What if you allocate 5/5 of the time? So Google did the experiment. In fact, they have what's called Google X. Google X is 10 times. And we'll see where that goes because it's all experiment. So the creativity, you're able to help and empower the members of the team to come up with their own solutions. What if you tried this? Creativity, and allow failure, allow success, but certainly don't punish failure. Just, and maybe not reward failure, but certainly acknowledge and say, okay, what can we do better? Don't do it again. Or that's a learning session. That's part of the learning. So you have motivation, you have learning, you have creativity. And when you get to those levels consistently enough and systematically, and by that I mean weekly, I'm trying to do it daily because of my energy level. I'm finding that the time to do that is in the morning to get into focus state. And this is part of my focus state. I'm right now in a focus state. I'm really enjoying this because not only am I sharing this with you, but I'm sharing that with myself. And I'm thinking, oh yes, this is good to do that and allow me to succeed and fail as I go along. And the fourth stage is that flow state, the flow state. And what happens as coaches, we go through the motivation, we go through the learning, and we go through the creativity, and we stop there. We stop there. That's the focus stage. And we somehow, and because that's what the clients want. Well, the clients want that, we'll just give it to them. Are you happy? Yes, I'm happy. But the key that they really want is how do they quadruple? How do they do 4 or 5, 10 times as much more than what they're doing now with the resources, with the talent, with the resource that you have, because that's what we have. And that's the flow state. And so what is this flow state? And I'm discovering those things. There are different triggers for getting into that stage depending on the situation. And all of those, as we go, as I went through all those different triggers, I go, oh, I know that, I know that, I know that, I know that. But together, all of those, well, using them consistently, then all of a sudden I go, oh, okay. Breathe and think and be creative, take a risk, have passion, be a communicator, be empathetic. All of those things, I'm thinking, oh, these are coaching skills at a much higher level, but at a conscious level. That once we put it at a conscious level, what's amazing about that is we put it into unconscious, subconscious level, so it becomes automatic, that it just flows. All of a sudden become a higher performing athlete, a business athlete. Happened in what my observation, at least from coaching for 15 years, is that, and the speaker mentioned this too, that we struggle to work with a company. The company knows when they need a plumber because something, or they need a dentist, but they don't say, I have an emotional problem, let me get a coach. So it's been a struggle. They know how to get consultants. I got a problem, I know, let me find a consultant. So that's a lot easier. So you show up as a consultant. The key here is that that's going to continue to be a problem coming in. Why? Well, because of a lot of definition. The better approach is to be able to actually coach a leader to be a coach, and they'll learn by doing it. And they in turn teach their leaders how to be coaches. Then all of a sudden you're teaching coaching by example, by whatever process, and it starts to go throughout the middle organization to the lower organization. They become empowered. And of course, the higher level of the organization can afford to have their own personal coach because they can, and because it takes some resources. But the middle and lower management, they don't, because they're executing. They're the tactical units. But if you teach them how to be coaches, they function better as an organization, and they do strive to get to a better flow state. All of a sudden, the whole organization, it's almost a bottom-up approach. The whole organization rises. And I think that's where we're heading, is to be able to have group and team coaching and environment coaching, and being able to empower those leaders to be able to be coaches themselves, being able to dare to be right more often than wrong. And so that's the journey.